Hello, everybody. Welcome to Karmic Palms. Today, we're going to be discussing about marriage lines. What are some of the best lines and signs that we see in a marriage of a person? Now, we will discuss the positive lines and we will discuss the negative lines. I hope it helps you. Now, before we do get started, please subscribe. And if you want to get your palm analyzed, do WhatsApp us. It's in the description box. Now, where do you see these marriage lines? How do you see marriage lines? Where are they located? How do they affect you? Let's discuss that in detail. Okay. Now, there are many. I'm going to show you some important lines. Okay. Not the rare ones which are there, but I'm going to show you which are there in normal people's hands. Okay. So you get an idea. Now, what are the best signs that we see in a marriage? Now, let's say your marriage line is here. Any marriage line which is like this. Okay, which goes up. I'm drawing it a bit longer, guys, so you get an idea of what I'm talking about. Okay, it doesn't have to be this long, it can be short. Okay, so this is a good marriage line. It has to be straight. Okay, this is considered to be one of the best marriage lines you will see. Now, there are standing lines like this. This shows how many children you're going to have and things like that. So this is normal that we see in people's hands. Some people have 2, 3, 4, whatever that is. You know how many of children you have. This shows the sign of a good married life. Yes, everybody has arguments, things like that in everybody's marriage because there are two people in one life, in one house and under one roof. So there'll always be I'm not talking about that. So this will be a healthy marriage. This is a sign of healthy marriage. Now, the second marriage, happy marriage line is, for example, let's say you have a line like this. Again, I'm drawing it a bit long so you get an idea. Let's say it's like this and it goes up. Now, this is again considered to be one of the most auspicious signs. Why? Because this person, if it's on with the guy, if a guy has this, this indicates the woman he gets married to will support him in his business. That she'll become a part of the business. If a woman has it, then it shows that if she's doing any business, then the guy will actively get involved in her business. This is a very positive sign to have again. And again, assuming that you have lines here, which indicates, again, how many children you're going to have and things like that. So this again is another positive sign. Now, will this be an arranged marriage or a love marriage? For that, you need to see here. You see this line coming and cutting like this? You see this part here? This shows love marriage. Okay, if it comes earlier, this shows in your early 20s. This is your late 20s, this is your late 30s again, and this will come in your late 40s, depending on how it cuts. Okay, so this is assuming these are all love marriage. Okay, so we need to see this part and this part here to see if it's going to be a love marriage and things like that. Okay, now let's not discuss this part right now. I'm only going to discuss here. So this again is another positive sign. Now, what is the third positive sign? Now, the third positive sign is if a marriage line goes like this and it comes closer to the sun line. This is another long line like this. This indicates this indicates that this person is going to marry into a partner who has a lot of wealth. Okay, having a long line like this indicates if it's a girl that she is going to marry into a very rich family. If it's a boy, it's again means he's going to marry into a rich family, a very wealthy family. And what will happen is the family, the in-laws are going to be very supportive of you. Okay, whatever you do, they will always support you to make sure that you grow in life. So this again is another positive sign. So now I have shown you 3 signs of positiveness, positive marriage lines. Now I'm going to discuss 3 negative lines which you need to be extremely careful of. If you have this, then you need to be very, very careful. One, which is a very basic line, which most people have, is it comes like this and it comes down. If you have this, this is considered not good. Okay? And if there are lines like this, not children line, I'm talking about lines which cut like this. If you have this, this means constant fighting. Even just after a year of marriage, you'll have constant problems, depending on how early this line starts. If it starts like this, means it will start very early. After 1 year of marriage, you'll have serious problems. Why? Because you will not be able to agree on things. There will constantly be fights, arguments, every day. Every single day there will be problems. And because of that, it might also lead to separation. Okay, so this is not a good sign to have. There'll be constant fights. And one day they might be calm for some time. They might absorb the problems. But one day when they have an argument, when it explodes, it will become unstoppable. Okay, you will not be able to stop them. It will become constant fights. So this is another negative sign too. This is the first negative sign. Now the second negative sign is if you have a marriage line like this and there is a line like this. Okay, now this is basic. Again, if there are any lines like this means difference in opinion. You will not agree again on something else. For example, you will want, if it's a guy, say he likes to go to the beach, and the wife will say, I like the mountains. And because of that, there'll always be, even eating habits, they'll have difference in opinion. Everything they do, they'll have thing. And because of that, what happens is this constant argument, trying to prove the other person wrong. And because of that, you will always have problems. It becomes frustrating. Why? Because crucial time when you have to decide on things, they'll start arguing about things. And because of that, you will have serious problems, which is not a positive sign. And this again will lead to separation. Why? Because it will get to a point of you don't even want to listen to that person anymore. Okay, the minute they open their mouth, you'll start fighting. So this again is not a good sign to have. This will bring negativity. And what happens is, guys, when you get into things like this, you waste so much of time arguing. Okay, what happens is there is no time for growth, because you go to work, you'll be thinking about, oh my God, how do I go back and start win this conversation? How do I prove her wrong, or how do I prove him wrong? Things like that. So what happens is your growth starts stagnating in life, and you spend your energy, your time, your life in just trying to prove yourself right. And because of that, everything goes for a jump. Your life becomes a living hell basically. So this again is a negative sign. Okay, not recommended. Now the third sign is if you have something like this, okay, and there is another line like this parallel, comes closer like this. If there is something like this is the worst sign. Why? Because there will be a third party involved in your relationship. For example, let's say a guy is there. Okay, a guy has this sign. So every time he has a problem with his wife, he will try to look for the third party to get involved in. What I'm trying to say is either it will be because of a woman they will break up. Okay, and if a woman has it, it'll be because of a guy who's involved in her life. So every single problem you have, you will go to the other person. Do you understand? Because you feel comforted there. And what happens is then your relationship goes for a jump. So this is not a good sign to have. This is for sure will lead to a breakup in life. Okay. Now this depends again. If we have to see legality lines, if there are any legal lines here, this means this person will become this marriage will become have a legal issues. Okay, so this again is a negative sign. This is not a good sign to have. And if there are constant things here, then it becomes physical, beating up, all that nonsense comes into. I don't want to get into that. Okay, so this is not a good sign to have. And if there are standing lines here like this, let me show you. If it's standing lines like this becomes physical. This is not a good sign. Okay, I wouldn't get into the details, but this is not a good sign to have. Now there are many other signs I haven't shown you, like for example, say you have an island. Okay, say you have two islands in a marriage line like this. All this is very negative. Okay, I'm not going to get into that. Let's focus on the positives, and I've just given you 3 positives and 3 negatives. I hope this helps. And another sign you have to always see is if this person is going to be faithful or not. You have to see the Venus mount. Okay, if it's overly up, this has different predictions. Okay, so you see if this marriage is going to be okay or not, you need to see the Venus mount also, because this plays a very important role also in your marriage. I hope this helps, guys. Okay, please do subscribe to our channel, and if you want to get your palm analyzed, do WhatsApp us. It's in the description box. Thank you. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.